Hello there YouTube, Michael Bowers here, once again doing a film review. This time I'm going to be reviewing the sequel to the 2006 film Night at the Museum. The film I'm reviewing, Night at the Museum 2 Battle of the Smithsonian, starring Ben Stiller, Amy Adams, and Hank Azaria, if I pronounced his name right. Anyway, obviously this film is a sequel to the 2006 film Night at the Museum, and that also stars Ben Stiller. And the plot, and the people who aren't familiar with the franchise, the plot of the first one was basically Ben Stiller's character Larry Daly discovers a tablet that allows these historical artifacts in the Museum of Natural History to come to life. And obviously there are three night guards, him joining to be a fourth one. The first three night guards are obviously like the antagonists of the film, and they've tried to steal the tablet so I think that they no longer exist or something. And obviously Ben Stiller succeeded in the first one in stopping them. So that's like a little minor basic plot of the first one. So this one comes in 2 years later. Story-wise, comes in 2 years later, and Larry's now head, and the plot is basically this. Larry is head of Daily Devices to manufacture his inventions, or to promote them a bit more. Then he decides to pay another visit to the Museum of Natural History, only to find that something's not quite right. Somehow all the historical artifacts are in boxes, and they're getting shipped over to the Smithsonian, which is like another famous museum, only bigger. Obviously the characters aren't happy about this, and they try to enlist Larry's help to stop this. So they go to the Smithsonian, of which Larry follows and tries to sneak them out to try and give his friends a help, and then he encounters the evil pharaoh Kamunra, if I pronounce it right, played by Hank Azaria, who basically comes back, I believe. It's hard to say. He comes back to life, and then he meets Amy Adams' character, Amelia Earhart, and basically the rest of the film is trying to get things back to the way they were. I know, I'm sorry if it wasn't the best plot synopsis, but there you go. So obviously this is the sequel to Night at the Museum 1, which I actually enjoyed. I really did like the first Night at the Museum. It was inventive, funny, engaging, moving. One of the fellow reviewers, Tom Chattelback, said that the Night at the Museum franchise is a good way to look at it as one of the perfect prime examples of a family film. And I agree with him 100% there. So if I'm talking to you, Tom Chattelback, good quote. Anyway, basically, they're good examples of family films. They've got comedy for the kids, some humour for the adults. They've got an adventure, and they're inventive as well, humorous. So the main genre of these films, I think, would be adventure comedies. So anyway, the first one was really good. It was moving and inventive. Easily can make 3.5 stars out of 5 for the first one. Second one I moved in, and I liked it better than the first one, even though I did enjoy number 1. Acting-wise, Ben Stiller returns as Larry Daly, and he does a really good job of doing the silliness of his character. And this time he has a bit more because the first film was about introducing everybody. This time you get to evolve with the story a little bit more. Sorry, with it being a sequel. And obviously this is a good example of how I think sequels can be better than the originals. Anyway, so Ben Stiller does a good job as Larry Daly. Amelia Earhart, portrayed extremely well by Amy Adams, I must say. She was quite funny, and even though that she's a wax figure and Larry Daly's is obviously not, then they do a good job in terms of building a relationship, even though despite the fact it is pretty weird, but in a funny type way. Hank Azaria, I think, does a decent job as the evil pharaoh. I think that he was probably one of the funniest of the characters, even because obviously sometimes the villain has got to be stupid or funny, or if he's not stupid, have stupid henchmen either way. But I liked the pharaoh. I think he was very funny, and particularly the accent he spoke in. I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to try and impersonate it because it'll sound silly. I think he did it really well. I found his performance to be quite moving along with the rest of the characters. And obviously, pretty much everyone's back, from the first one, except the 3 night guards, who I don't think are in this one as much. But all the historical artifacts are back, which is a good thing. And obviously, Shawn Levy, who directed the first one, also directs this one, which I found to be very good. as I think that sequels work better if the original director sticks on to direct the second film. So that's like acting-wise done. I've probably gone a bit overboard there. Anyway, so story-wise was really good. Film in general, I loved some of the sequences that were shown, and this was just as inventive as the first one. Maybe not as funny, but you know, in terms of being inventive and humor levels, it stays extremely true to the first one, and that's what I loved about Night in the Museum too, is that it stays true to the first one in terms of humor, character development, and everything. And then obviously I think this elevates it to another level. So that's what, for me, made Night in the Museum 2 more enjoyable than the first one. What else was there? Obviously, you know, with it being in the Smithsonian, there's going to be a lot more peril involved. And, you know, what can I say? It's just good in terms of how they deal with the peril. I don't know if I probably said that right, but anyway. So, like I said, in humor levels, it's also gone to another level as well. The humor, even though humor isn't used as much as the first one, I still think it's fine to be just as funny, if not even funnier, than Night in the Museum 1. There was one particularly funny scene with Steve Coogan as Octavius, and he was running through this little, well, what to him could look like a maze, or like a high hedge, but obviously it's just the grass, but as he's so small, it's not that big, you know, he was running through the grass, and you can hear him screaming, and another shot, completely silent. It's just a clever technique. So, kudos to Shawn Levy for that. So overall, I actually, you know, I think that I don't know. I think it's hard to find any flaws with it, really. You know, I mean, you know, maybe it could have been a bit more humor, but you know, I mean, it isn't by far any way a perfect movie. It's not perfect. Let me get that straight. It is not a perfect movie, but it is a great family film. I think it's probably one of the best family films I've seen in ages. You know, I really I like the first one, and I just really like the second one. So overall, I'm going to give Night at the Museum 2 4 stars out of 5 on a tie with Angels and Demons. That Night at the Museum Battle of Smithsonian is a great family film. It has humour for everyone. It's adventurous. It's got peril, and it's got good invention. Well, I probably said it already, but it's inventive as well. So yep, so that's my overall review of Night at the Museum 2 Battle of Smithsonian. Oh, and guys, by the way, feel free to leave comments below. Not just for this video, but for any of the videos I post up. Feel free to leave any comments. Just gonna say that right there. So anyway, so that's my review of Night in the Museum 2, and I hope you enjoyed the movie. We've seen it. So until next time, you two, Michael Bowers signing out.